Meet Rob Nelson, talk show host.
Because you got the 70s thing going there. I got someone's underwear.
Robert Kennedy, thanks for taking a minute. Simple question.
Tucker, it's good to see you. Listen,
You're a Bitcoin maximalist. You're Bitcoin forever.
I hate this central bank digital currency.
hey, I don't have all the answers, but together, I know we can find them.
All right, hey everybody, welcome to Rob Nelson Live. Happy Wednesday. I hate that happy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Why do we say it? Why do people say happy whatever day? I mean, I think they say it because they don't want to say how are you. It's like happy Wednesday, happy someday. It's, you know, but just, are you in a shitty mood or a good mood? Just give me an honest answer. We've lost sight of the ability to be fully honest anymore at this point in our lives. It's interesting. Today's show is going to be a little bit different. First, not going to be too long. Secondly, going to touch on a couple of political things, but really going to focus on a bigger picture of where we are as a country, as a world, as people. Just think about the last couple months. Think about the last couple weeks. I mean, I don't care what your politics are. We are in such disarray, right? No one can deny it. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what Joe Biden said when he was hobbling around or what Donald Trump says when he's pretending everything's perfect. Like, we're a mess. You got an upheaval in Iran where the people are in the streets. They think like 2,000 people got killed. Can you imagine if 2,000 Americans, people make a big deal. I'm not diminishing it, the one woman in Minneapolis, but like, can you imagine if 2,000 people just got shot down by government forces? And that's a low estimate. Human rights groups human rights groups think it's much higher than a couple thousand. Trump's like, I'm going to come bomb you if you don't do it. Now suddenly he's like, oh, no, don't worry. It's all good. I mean, they said they're going to stop the killing. I'm honestly, I'm not lying. I'm reaching the end of my Donald Trump thing. Like, he literally just says whatever he has to say. No, they're not going to stop the killing. Oh, there'll be no more executions. See, I said I was going to come get them. And if they didn't change and stopped hurting civilians, I was coming in. Well, they've stopped. Really? They stopped? Not going to shoot any more people, not going to kill any more people, not going to execute any more people? No, of course they are. Regime change. Get rid of the leadership in Iran. Instead, we're getting rid of the leadership in Venezuela. But we're only getting rid of the leadership, Maduro in Venezuela. Yes, he's a corrupt loser. He's he's not a totalitarian, but he's a dictator who's basically a narco-terrorist. But as I said before, we didn't remove him because we cared about the Venezuelan people. We removed him because we want their oil. And we're going to take their oil. And Trump's going to have the oil companies come in, put in billions of dollars. Problem is, it might not make sense for them. They were meeting today. I mean, it might not make, in the White House, might not make sense because the cost of the investment might not pay the low price of oil right now. So it might not be a good investment. But either way, we're going to take that oil, which at one point we had before they nationalized. We're going to take it. It's the biggest oil reserve in the world, biggest oil reserves in the world. And it's a heavy oil. It's not gasoline oil. So it's good for industrial, for manufacturing. We're going to take the oil. We're going to tell the government, the interim government, what to do. You know, the opposition leader, she's coming to visit Trump. The one who said she'd give him her Nobel Peace Prize. Like, he's like, I don't think you can run the country. Really? Thought you wanted to like have a democracy. She won the vote. They denied her the position. You got rid of the guy who denied her the position. You're going, yeah, but we don't let you get it. We're going to put someone else in that we like. It's all so corrupt. Prices are as low as ever. Everything's good. The economy's better than it's ever been for a small number of people. Mandami is the mayor of New York, not because his ideas are brilliant, Certainly not because he's a Jew lover. He's in the biggest Jewish city in the world outside of Israel. And he's, if not an anti-Semite, he's surrounded by them. Why would, and 30% of Jews voted for him. Why? Because he said, I'll make it livable. Now, will he? No. His plan, I don't think most of his ideas work. That's not the point. The point isn't whether his plans work. The point is, he's like, no, your standard of living is not okay. I'm a Gen Xer. I helped define my generation. The New York Times called me the original spokesperson of Generation X. Technically, I'm like a year and a half off from the age they decided it was later. But that's irrelevant. Most publications, not just the New York Times, recognized I was a prominent national figure in the 90s because I defined the voice of what my generation was about. I was one of a small number of people who articulated on a very public stage what we felt: a distrust in institutions, a disgust at the two parties, a sense that we would be the first generation not to do as well as the generation before us, a complete removal from the false kind of pretense, wanting an open, transparent, let's just be honest approach. I helped, there's a few of the things. The angst of my generation, I helped define it. That's why the New York Times said I was one of the original spokespeople. I literally helped brand that name. Doug Copeland wrote Generation X, the book, and I'm in the book. But we, a small group of us, and I probably had the most visibility because I got national media exposure all the time, pre-social media. You couldn't go viral. You had to get the networks. You had to get the mainstream to focus on you. Kept hammering home the name because I didn't like being called a slacker. And the name stuck. John Chancellor, who's, rest in peace, was the, anchor emeritus or whatever at NBC, did a whole piece in 1993 about, our generation, and it included what I and my partner John Cowan were doing with Lead or Leave. And he said they call themselves Generation X. We called ourselves that. I helped name it. I know what it's like to define a generational movement, to be part of it. I'm not saying that to brag, although sure, pat me on the back if you want. I'm saying it to say I'm having a recognition of where we are and what we're missing and what every generation has had to do. And at the end of the day, we live in an era where everybody, social media, the way people see things, the old joke about Instagram, everybody posts their perfect life, and meanwhile they're crying miserably. But you can make it look good. It's only getting worse. AI makes it even worse. Everybody's perfect, except everybody's miserable. We're all living in kind of a collective lie, and Trump is part of the collective lie. I'm sorry. Everything's better than it's ever been. America's better than it's ever. It's not. Stop. It's not. Or Mandami wouldn't be the mayor of New York. It's not. And that's not a knock on him. It's just kind of semi-anti-Semite who's a Muslim, runs the city with the most Jews in the world other than in Israel. How does that happen? And 30% of them vote for him because he was like, it's not fine. You can't afford to live in this city. And most Americans don't feel fine. Charlie Kirk got shot in the throat speaking when all he did, I don't care if you can't stand his politics. All he did was say, I will go out and have conversations. And I will argue why I'm right. I will say what I believe. And you don't have to agree with me, but I will hold the space for the conversation. And they shot him dead. That's the world we live in. Drive-by shootings used to be a thing. Now it's like parking lot conflict. Somebody blocks your parking space, and next thing you know, somebody's dead. It's insane. Kids were in the car. Boom, shot him through the windshield. And yes, the ICE agents in Minneapolis. No, I'm not okay with that they shot her. And I'm not okay with what she did either, but it's two sides of the same coin. I've said, preach for years to we have to deal with a massive flow of illegal immigrants. It's draining the economies of the cities they move into. It's unfair to the people who live here, who are citizens, who need things. I worked in more impoverished inner city communities. They're not getting anything. They're getting crap. Well, you're from another country. Great, let you in. And again, that was a Democratic agenda. They wanted voters. Fine. Go F yourself. Yes, everyone's got an agenda. And both parties have an agenda. The agenda is to stay in power and pretend to promise the American people good things. Otherwise, why haven't the Republicans actually solved these problems? They've had control of both houses of Congress and the White House for a year. Fix things. Why is healthcare still broken? Go fix it or go home. That's what Lead or Leave was, by the way. Lead or Leave was a campaign in the 90s. Look it up. Look it up on Wikipedia. And the idea was lead or leave. Fix the deficit. Give my generation a chance, a financial base at a national level to build education, to provide better healthcare, to not be the first generation that loses out being behind our parents, to have a sustainable future, including the environment. I wasn't a climate change activist, but yes, all of it. And if you can't lead, then leave. Why haven't Republicans led? Because they're the same as Democrats, just with a different party hat, party affiliation, and different language. Go fix the problems. Don't make excuses. You control both houses and the White House. Don't stall. Go fix them. Lower healthcare insurance costs. Go after the insurance companies. Put some balls on. Go out there and be like, we are done with you raping the American public. Done, and done. And we won't let you do it anymore. We don't care. We will make laws. We will write things. We will put you under the biggest rock you could ever imagine if you don't stop doing this. Credit card companies, same thing. Donald Trump said, I'm calling for all credit card companies for a year to call for all credit card companies. I hate Elizabeth Warren, but she's got a bill, a 10-year bill. Literally put handcuffs on them. You cannot charge people 20, 30, 40% for their credit cards. 10% max. Live with it or go home. They're all scared. They're all wimps. And they're all the same. But here's the thing. We're a little bit all the same too. Because we all point fingers, and I'm pointing fingers all directions. I'm pointing left, right, up, down. I'm like everybody's in the point finger thing. And I'll point them right back at me. I get the finger pointed right at me too. I am no better. I have not done a better job. I did some things great, especially earlier in my life. I was passionate. I was young. I was committed. I fought hard. Bill Clinton said, you made a difference. You had an impact. The New York Times, the Philadelphia Inquirer, the Boston Globe, newspapers wrote about it. It was on, U.S. News, Time, a generational change maker. Great. But what have I done lately? Have I made a difference lately? Have I broken the dynamic lately? Nope. I had a friend give me an idea. And it was like, how about this idea to you go out and you have this impact, or you could just go to Belize and live on an island. Because, you got enough money to do that. I was like, I think I choose the Belize option. Wow. It's like pointing my finger right back at myself. We're in a tough time, everybody. We're in a really tough time. And it's personal and it's professional and it is generational. I will say the millennials and the Gen Zers. I do think there is a sense that you shouldn't have to. Let's say I'm a Gen Xer. I'm in the middle. The baby boomers before me, the greatest generation before them. Then after me, the millennials. The generations before me, especially the, quote, greatest generation, and then the baby boomers, but especially the greatest generation, they took nothing for granted. They thought, you work your ass off. My dad was in World War II. He got the Distinguished Service Cross, second highest award you can get other than the Congressional Medal of Honor for bravery. He risked his life. He risked everything. He saved people. He fought. He watched people die. He did it all. And when he came home, he got on the GI Bill and went to college. And he was so grateful to have had that opportunity. I'd been like, whoa, wait, you owe me a lot more than just you owe me a little more than just a college tuition here. Like I helped save our country. Give me some more. Well, the generation after me thinks it the same. The older generations literally thought, we have to work for everything and we're grateful for whatever we get. And it is a struggle. There is no taking for granted. It is a fight to the finish, and life is beautiful, and thank God for letting me be here. It's like this guy I met on a bus once about 5-7 years ago, old black dude, and I was like, "How are you?" He's like, "Every day every day I'm above ground is a good day, or every day I'm not 6 feet under. Like I'm 6 feet up, not 6 feet down. Every day, doesn't matter how bad it is a good day because I'm up here, not down there." It's like, wow, I don't feel that way. I'm like, what a shitty day. What a fucking asshole fucking shitty day. I'd rather be dead. He was like, every day I'm above ground is a good day. There's an attitude. And our generation, Gen X, we started to lose it. Millennials definitely lost it. And Gen Zs, forget about it. They don't even think they should have to show up for work. I feel a little tired today. I don't really want to do what I was supposed to do. And millennials, a little step behind that. They're harder working, but there's a sense of like things should align, should be easier. They started with the participation trophies. Like, everybody should win. Well, take a participation trophy to the next level. No, and you don't necessarily personally want a participation trophy. You might even think that's a stupid idea, but at some level, a participation trophy says everybody who competed should win. A logical next step of that is, I shouldn't have to work so hard. It should be easier. I am working hard. I put in a lot. Where's my reward? The older generations were like, I don't know, I'll work as hard as it takes to get the reward, or I'll value the thing I have. The problem with my generations, we got squeezed right in the middle of that. We had the people ahead of us who were willing to work so hard. The people after us who were like, I shouldn't have to work so hard. We lost sight of the thing we had. We're the first, and people talk about Gen Z and millennials are not going to get what generations before had. We were the Gen X. We were the first generation to not get what had come before, to end up worse off. So we focused on that. Well, wait, I'm not getting on what? I'm getting screwed. And we didn't go, no, I'm really lucky. I'm really lucky to be alive in this time. 6 feet above, not 6 feet under. Technology exploding. Living in the 90s were incredible. I lived through them. The early 2000s, incredible. But the 90s, like we lived through the best. And we took sort of for granted, like instead of going, I recognize how amazing this thing I have is. I'm going to ask for a little more. I think maybe I deserve a little more. The baby boomers, and certainly the greatest generation, like my dad, absolutely, like, I'm so lucky to still be alive after this war. And thank you for giving me a chance to go to a state college. Forget about the millennials and the Gen Zs. Sorry, you guys. But even the Gen Xers, we'd be like, well, let me be clear. If I'm going to go to a state college, you better make this blank, or otherwise I just won't. I mean, if you're not putting me in Harvard or whatever, fine. But I actually want to be clear. My worth and my value, I shouldn't have to compromise if you're not going to meet me there. Now, I'm a Libra. I'm all about fairness. My girlfriend will tell you, and probably won't be my girlfriend because of this, but like, will tell you, I die on the cross of fairness. It's a stupid place to live. Nor should it be. And your gifts that you are given don't have to be compensated. The struggles you have don't have to be compensated by matching gifts. The gifts you have are the gifts you have. Again, the old dude on the bus, every day I'm above ground is a good day. Not every day when I'm not homeless or not hungry or not sitting on a Greyhound bus or not heartbroken. Every single day I'm alive, I'm lucky. It's a gift. I'm like, well, no. Not if they're bad days. Yes, that's the difference. So I'm the in-between generation. And they used to kind of suggest we were the transitional generation. Squeezed in between the ones that had this much more expansive sense of gratitude for the opportunities they had and willingness to commit to whatever work it took. You got married, you stuck it out. Why? Not to be miserable, to try to make it better, to honor your commitments. Gen Zs don't even think going to work is a commitment. I'm sorry, I felt tired today, so I didn't do what I was supposed to do. It was a bad day. Like literally, they say that. And everybody laughs about it, but it's facts. It's science. Ask Fauci. Don't even get me started on COVID, because that's the perfect example of what went all south with all of this. We also are in a complicated mediascape where information is weaponized, where social media has put us into our camps, and it's closed our minds down to only reinforce what we think. Whatever you think, you can go out and get validation. Sure, you might get it from your friends or your family, but you can get ChatGPT to give it to you. You can just go on your socials and it'll give it to you. It'll give you 50 Instagram videos verifying what you think. Whether that is that you're, a woman who shouldn't have to be in a situation that's, where you're not getting anything you want for your partner, or whether you're the misogynistic guy who's like, women suck. Like, either one, you'll get the answers endlessly, as if you're on the, precipice of truth. You're on Mount Sinai. Everybody gets the answers they want over and over. Social media doesn't go on the one hand, on the other hand. Just gives you the one you want and reinforces it. So everybody's getting reinforced in their camps, including me, by the way. I'm going to keep pointing the finger back at me. I'm no different. No different. That's why every mistake I've made, I can look back going, wow. And I've made some big ones, to be honest, in the last couple of years. Every one of them goes right back to me. I'm like, I made those choices. I reinforced those beliefs. I stuck to what I thought I deserved or was fair or whatever. I made those choices. I didn't value certain things I had. Oh, I didn't think they were not valuable. It wasn't like I dismissed them, but I didn't recognize their value meant do anything and everything to protect them. And that is, so I want to be clear, didn't do everything and everything to protect them. I didn't think they were worthless. I thought they were super valuable. I was just like, but for that value, I should only have to give so much. Asking more is not reasonable. Instead of going, those gifts are priceless. They are worth every single thing you could ever give to maintain them. That is the problem most of us are encountering, whether we know it right now or are going to discover it in the next couple of years. And we all will. We will all in one way, shape, or form discover what my father, the greatest generation, knew. And I'm not putting them up on a pedestal, but they had a lot of mistakes. And my dad was so homophobic, he literally fired a guy because he was gay working in his office, and then found out that this gay couple was living with my sister upstairs from his office, and he didn't know they were gay, and was like, they're gay, like they can't live there anymore. But he ultimately changed. I'll give him credit, but was like, oh, how can they be gay? They're such good guys. Like, that's how homophobic he was. Now he changed. He realized how mistaken he was and grew. But my point is, I'm not saying they had it all right. I'm just saying they recognize when you have something good, you commit anything and everything to it. You don't go, well, it's been too hard. Or I shouldn't have to give so much, And this is me pointing the finger at myself. Oh, it's good, but it better match up to what I deserve and what I want. Otherwise, what? Otherwise what? Otherwise what? That's what we're doing right now as a world, as individuals. And that's why we're ripping the shred out of it all. That's why we got ICE agents in the streets in Minneapolis and protesters screaming and saying, fuck you, and throwing everything at them. And they're like, we're going to scoop everybody up we can. We don't care if you've been here 25 years and are a good member of your community. We're getting you all done, That's why we have Trump. And it's why we had Biden. And it's why we'll have whatever the next iteration is. And it's why ultimately our relationships will implode. It's why families don't have dinner together anymore, because they're on different sides of a political equation. That's how fucked up we've gotten, folks. It's why we had cancel culture. If you go back to the roots of our country, a bunch of people were tired of having a foot on their neck from England. They were citizens of the empire, and they wanted a fair deal. They didn't like being overtaxed. They didn't like not having representation. They didn't like having a standing army sitting outside of Boston. Again, standing army means an army that's sitting there waiting to do something. Well, what are you going to go do with that standing army? You're going to go take over a country? No, you're there in case the people who live there get out of line. Like, we're citizens. Why you got an army on our shoulders? That's why people react to the ICE thing. We're citizens. Why do you have an army? Why do you have people en masse with guns on our shoulders? I'm not defending the illegal criminals who are here, but I'm saying that's why you're getting that reaction. Why are you sitting on our shoulders like that? We're citizens. I'm not talking about the illegals. They're not citizens. They shouldn't have come here. If they came here recently, they should go home. But you can't be trying to like deport people who've been here for a decade and built lives. It's not only not realistic, it's inhumane. It's fucked up. We're doing this to ourselves. Our founding fathers and mothers, and again, most of the mothers got ignored, except, the Abigail Adamses, and that's too bad. It took us a long time to have the sense of equality that included women and then blacks and, and so on and so forth. And we stomped on the Indians and they all had slaves and it's all messed up, yes. But tearing their statues down does nothing. Sidebar to sidebar, but just saying. They understood something. They wanted freedom. And they knew the cost they would pay. They knew the gift they potentially had. And initially, I've said to people, they didn't really want democracy. They just wanted a fair deal. But when Britain wouldn't give them one, when Britain was like, no way, you get under our foot where you belong, they were like, fine, we won't. And at that point, as they say in the Ken Burns documentary, which is 12 hours, it'll put you to sleep, put my girlfriend to sleep every night, but, still really smart, just hard to stay awake because it's so boring. But ideally, they created the ideal conditions for a democracy. They didn't start out wanting to build one. People think they started out wanting to build a democracy. No, they didn't start out wanting to build a democracy. They started out wanting Britain to give them a better deal. And they would have happily made that deal, but Britain wasn't budging. So then they were like, fine, then we're fighting. And then they were like, we could do something kind of special here. We could recognize the unique abilities and gifts and inherent rights that should be given to all men, except slaves and women, right? That's the contradiction. But they created a platform for it. But my point is, they saw what they had, they saw the beauty of it, and they fought to protect it at all costs. That included initially their world here in the colonies, and then it became the ideal they were fighting for. They saw the unique value of that liberty, the unique proposition of what they had been given. They called them God-given rights, then they called them, inalienable rights, right? Like the Thomas Jefferson, they was originally God-given, they took it out, put in inalienable. But the idea was these supreme gifts. And we have been given supreme gifts. It's one supreme gift to live in this country. Another supreme gift is to have all the technology that we have. Another supreme gift is to have the advancements in medicine that let us live longer. To communication tools we have that let us talk to people so far away and see them face to face on FaceTime. I FaceTime with my dog halfway across the country. Another supreme gift is the relationships we have. No matter how hard they are, the truly unique, irreplaceable relationships. They don't come around again. None of this comes around again. And yet we think, well, maybe it's too much work and maybe they will come around again. They won't. This won't. Something will rebuild, but we're on the verge of destroying it. We're on the verge of destroying our what we have as a country, as a world. Used to be nuclear weapons. Now it's so much worse. But the hopefulness is that we don't have to be. We actually could realize it's worth fighting for. It's a beautiful thing, and it will adjust and adapt, but it is worth fighting for. And that means you can't go to war with your neighbor because they don't agree with you. That means you can't just go throw everybody out who's been in the country illegally just because they came in illegally 20 years ago. But you can't throw out the criminals. You can't throw out the people who are the gangbangers. You can't hate the Democrats and hate the Republicans and back and forth. And you can't for a second think that somebody else can do the work. We have to do it ourselves. There's so much genius out there. I want to do a shout out. My girlfriend, you've seen her. She's one of the biggest geniuses. She's a future voice. And there's future voices beyond her. Believe it or not, as much as people like to pick on the Gen Zs, there's future voices that aren't just figuring out how to sell crap on TikTok. I was a past voice. I'll be a continuing voice. And I point the finger back at myself that I haven't been a consistent enough voice. So what I'm saying to you, I'm saying to myself, we all need to step up and be that consistent voice. It's work, but it's worth fighting for what we believe in and what we have. That sounded like a lecture, was not, but man, it's from my heart. So thank you for watching.
Meet Rob Nelson, talk show host.
Because you got the 70s thing going there. I got someone's underwear.
Robert Kennedy, thanks for taking a minute. Simple question.
Tucker,
It's good to see you. Listen,
if you're a Bitcoin maximalist, you're Bitcoin forever.
I hate this central bank digital currency.